Happy almost Friday. It's XYZ with Erik Zachary, getting you in the mood.
Why? We're not getting you in the mood.
XYZ throwback is coming up on the way. Also, more about nothing. A fun little deep dive history research behind Radio Man.
Yes.
This has nothing to do with the radio movie starring Cuba Gooding Jr.
No.
Okay.
It's a guy in New York City.
Yeah, your run it back record, the quick history, fun story behind Estelle, and Kanye West's American Boy, plus how the ozone layer is getting repaired, and Timothee Chalamet's return to SNL.
Yes.
Has he ever been on SNL?
Yeah, he's been on
So
a
it's
lot.
his return to SNL.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All that and more.
It.
Let's get into it. You're almost Friday, getting you in the mood. Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious franchise is coming to the rescue of L.A. In light of all the insane and scary and horrible wildfires.
That's right.
Vin Diesel has the answer.
He has just posted on Instagram. I want to make sure I get this right. During the fires that displaced LA, my sister Jordana, not his sister, just someone who's also on the Fast franchise, reached out to me and said, please have Universal film the rest of Fast X Part 2, Fast 10 Part 2.
How many are there? I thought it was done. I thought once they sent Ludacris to space, we were like, okay, we can't do any more with this.
That's what I'm saying. So he was like, Los Angeles needs it now more than ever.
Okay.
Los Angeles is where Fast and Furious started 25 years ago.
And they're bringing it back. I got it. All right.
Now we'll come home.
I got it. So I'm not trying to make light of the fact that you're bringing production back to LA that creates jobs, that creates resources.
Correct.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't like that he's writing this as if Fast and the Furious is going to be the real life savior of these wildfires.
As though doing wild things with cars, except turning them into Transformers, don't know how they didn't do a crossover there yet, is going to save the city.
Fast X Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't like that they're not like final part, because then there's going to be a part 3, part 4, part 5.
Part 12.
Yeah. We have no details on when they're filming, where they're filming. Besides,
no release dates, anything, yeah.
But it's on the way. It's XYZ with Erik Zachary. Oscar nominations are officially out after a previous delay due to the LA wildfires. XYZ with Erik Zachary. It's your XYZ ENT Entertainment Report, all brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Jordan, I know that you wanted to take lead here.
Yes.
Okay.
The Oscar noms are out. Let's do wrong answers only.
Okay.
Yep.
Of what got nominated?
Yes.
Hot Frosty on Netflix.
Madam Web.
I don't remember any other movies that I saw.
Mean Girls the musical.
You have a whole list. You were ready for this joke.
Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheek story.
Did that come out this last year?
Yeah.
Really?
It was a SpongeBob spinoff.
You would know that. More accurately, obviously, Wicked took home 10 nominations.
Yes.
Cynthia Erivo creating history, being only the second black woman in history to receive a second Best Actress nomination, the first being Viola Davis.
Correct.
Her first nomination was for Harriet, and obviously she's up for Wicked right now. There's a bunch of front runners here. Jordan, I'm assuming you have the real list in front of you?
The real list. The biggest thing is Amelia Perez took home the most Oscar noms, followed by The Brutalist and Wicked, tying at 10. Complete Unknown, 8. Conclave, 8. Honora, 6. Dune Part 2. And The Substance, 5. Nosferatu, 4.
Yeah, I saw everyone saying a bunch of snubs. Some of them make sense. People are like, oh, Ariana got nothing. It's like, I think they're saving for Wicked Part 2.
Sure.
Nicole Kidman, everyone's saying, got snubbed because of Baby Girl, and I saw that film.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's
like
a big
some
snub.
of the Nicole Kidman movies, but that was not one that's Oscar nominee worthy for her.
I think the biggest snub is Challengers.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know why Dune Part 2 is up for Best Film. I don't know. I'm never a fan of like when franchises take a, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think a sequel or something that's in a trilogy or longer should get one if you have to build off the fact that a first movie had to come out.
Yeah. I guess, because you could apply the same to Wicked, but again, this is Wicked Part 1 that's getting the nom.
Right.
I don't know. Nominations. Oscars are going down Sunday, March 2nd. Conan O'Brien, this year's host. 2025 Academy Awards, just a reminder, are not delayed. They will be going down as planned despite the wildfires. It's XYZ with Erik Zachary, your XYZ ENT Entertainment Report, all brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Big week for Tim Shalley. Timothee Chalamet is pulling double duty on SNL. He also just received an Oscar nomination for his role as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. Very exciting time for him.
Yes.
But he recently put out the SNL promos, and it turns out that he needs some help to pull this double duty.
I've never done this before. You know, I'm having to be SNL host and musical guest in the same week, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I want to focus on the songs.
Okay.
So I brought in some help to cover with all the hosting duties.
He's bringing in the Timothee Chalamet lookalikes from the viral contest that happened in New York that he showed up to, by the way.
Yep,
It was part of the reason it got shut down. That's incredible. These poor, not poor guys, these guys that showed up that look kind of like him.
Yeah, they're getting their 5 minutes of fame. One of them ends up going on Fallon because in the promo he gets a text like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be in a different studio right now," and he sends one of them over to Fallon, and Fallon's like, "This is definitely not Timothee Chalamet."
That's so cool because they're going to be on the actual show.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Brilliant. Timothee Chalamet, this week's SNL double duty host and guest, musical guest.
That's right.
And then, of course, congratulations to him on his Oscar nomination for A Complete Unknown. 3 songs. What year did they all get released? What year did they have in common? Sounds easy enough.
Yeah.
It is certainly not. XYZ with Erik Zachary. It's all brought to you by Straight Talk from Verizon. I guess I should tell you what it's called. XYZ Throwback. Jordan, you picked these songs.
Yes, I did.
You're the chairman of Throwback today.
That is correct.
Producer Trace and I are playing for you at home. 3 songs. We have not heard these yet. What year do they have in common? We can guess one guess after each song, and we have an opportunity to lock it in. So here we go. Number 1.
I don't know this song.
This is Meghan Trainor, No Excuses.
When did this come out?
That's the whole point of the game, Eric.
Okay, that part I vaguely. Your mama raised you better than.
What are we thinking? What are we thinking?
I've zero. This could be anything from the album that All About That Bass came out to last year because she went back to her original sound.
Sure.
So,
Trace, how do you feel?
I am so not confident at all.
Not
Good.
taking a guess,
Yeah.
either of us.
Nope.
All right, song number 2. Here we go.
Oh,
Post Malone, Psycho.
Yep.
Okay.
What are our thoughts here?
I'm zooming in.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a range. Again, what year did all 3 of these songs get released?
5 Girls Like You.
Yeah. I don't know why it's the first thing that came to mind, but when they put this music video out, they had a bunch of iconic women in the music video.
That's right.
And I don't know why I just immediately saw Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh,
She was
yeah,
in it.
she was in it.
And she was the odd person out because Cardi B's on that track.
Yeah.
Party, yeah.
It was a lot of younger, not trying to be ageist here, but just Ellen was there's Ellen.
Very
Yeah.
standout.
Yeah.
This was before.
All right. How are you feeling? You guys, I believe, have to guess now
Yeah.
before the bonus song.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts?
I'll be nice. I'll let Trace go first unless
Okay.
he wants to
All right.
defer.
No, I'll do 2015.
I was
2015?
genuinely going to say 2015. I will
Okay.
say, wow, it's 2015. I'll say 2014 to hedge my bets.
2014?
Yeah.
2015 is
Yep.
what they're saying. The
Yep.
correct answer is 2018.
Dang.
What?
Yep.
Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go.
No way.
Oh, baby.
What source did you use?
Why don't you just meet me in the
every source.
middle?
If I would have heard middle, I would have obviously.
That's
but
why it's the bonus song.
yeah.
The
What?
middle was 2018, though?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the part that confused you. Wow, Psycho was 2018.
Correct. Yeah.
Off of what album?
Oh.
Beer Bongs and Bentleys?
Beer Bongs and Bentleys.
Oh, I thought it was off his first one.
You know what? I think I was confusing Girls Like You and Maps. In
Ah,
my
yeah,
head,
Okay.
I was like, I don't know. Maroon 5 hasn't had a hit since, I was a pretty big M5 fan.
Yep.
You know, as part of the gang, we called them M5.
Yeah.
That's
That's right,
Yep,
yeah.
That's right.
But
Core
then
M5
Adam
listener.
Levine added that whole little hiccup in his personal situation.
Boy, did he.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
2018.
2018.
Wildly wrong.
So off.
Okay.
Ugh.
So still no winner.
Disgusted.
Yep.
As far as the new year goes, no one has won XYZ Throwback. Stripe, the POS credit card servicer,
Yes.
just had a unfortunate mass firing of 300 employees. While terrible, companies do this all the time. It's
Correct.
not news. However, what usually doesn't happen is after they send out the mass firing, they additionally sent out a meme duck. They sent out a cartoon duck to all of these employees.
No way.
Yes.
And they're all like, wait, we got fired and you're flaming us?
Yeah,
Like
trolling them.
What's going on here? The duck looks like a Pokemon. It's just
no, it's a cartoon duck. They all at once sent out one email, fired 3.5% of their workforce, and then accidentally sent a follow-up email of a cartoon.
I know what happened. That means one higher up was like replying to the one person that sent it, like the ducks or whatever, and hit reply all company-wide email. It's like, oh man, you got to do this before you shut off the email.
It's messed up.
The last email you get from your employer is a duck. XYZ Run It Back record. Quick deep dive history behind songs that you definitely know today. Estelle featuring Kanye West, American Boy.
Take me on a trip I'd like to go someday.
Now the history behind this American Boy, today's Run It Back record, all brought to you by Intuit TurboTax.
2008 it came out, 30 weeks on the chart. It peaked at number 9, but we got to go back to 2004 to when she met Kanye West. Very interesting story about how this came together.
This is #1 champion sound. Yeah, Estelle, we about to get down.
So good. Oh, that's the old Kanye.
Yeah, old Kanye.
I miss
right
the old
there.
Kanye.
So she was in LA in 2004 when Kanye also had put out not only his debut album but his good music label.
Take me on a trip I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA.
Having a horrible time in the studio.
Yeah.
And was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go leave.
You'll be my American boy.
Just our first introduction to LA.
Yeah, first introduction to LA, and goes to Roscoe's Chicken. Randomly, Kanye West and John Legend are in there, right? She walks up to Kanye, starts talking to him.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I love what you do. I want to meet this guy named John Legend. And Kanye was like, you want to meet John Legend?
Yeah.
He's the guy sitting across the table.
Not
from
realizing
me.
that's him right then and there.
Exactly.
Knew him by name.
Yeah.
Very cool story.
So then this song ended up being on her second album, her sophomore album, Shine, and she was signed to John Legend's Home
Like
School
in
Records.
this American boy, American boy. Take me on a trip I'd like to go someday.
So did John Legend help her write it then? Or?
Yeah, he was the one that gave her the idea to write a song about dating an American guy. It was her first introduction to like the American music scene. Obviously, we still know it as the classic that it is today.
Wow.
So all thanks to John Legend and Kanye West being at a chicken shop, basically.
It's such like a 2000 sentence. Like
Yeah.
these guys, because like they were both known but not at their peak yet.
Right,
And,
right,
Yeah, you just walk
exactly.
up and you're like, that's Kanye, that's John Legend. I'm
Yep.
Estelle, nice to meet you. I didn't know she was British.
Yeah,
That
yes,
makes the
yeah.
American Boy title make way more sense now. There you
Yeah.
go. They Run It Back record history behind Estelle's American Boy featuring Kanye West. Run It Back record all brought to you by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. A lot of doom and gloom in the news cycle right now. So here's some positive news as far as the environment goes. The ozone layer is on track to fully recover by 2066.
That's right. NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, have said that it will repair the hole by 2066. Unfortunately, humans phase out by 2064.
Oh.
I'm totally kidding. That's totally a joke.
I
That's
fully believed that. I was like, all right.
No, I'm joking.
41 years from now is when we're on track to repair the ozone layer, assuming that there's no massive climate change
Right.
policy restructure happening.
But hey, this is a huge win for those who switched to metal straws solely. So
You were waiting for that joke. You teed that up from the beginning. It's XYZ with Erik Zachary. More About Nothing is coming up on the way. Quick deep dives, fun facts, histories of... Histories of
Yeah, you had it right the first time.
It's XYZ with Erik Zachary. Radio Man?
Yeah, do you know about Radio Man?
Is this my origin story?
No, you don't want this to be your origin story.
Okay. All right. So Radio Man, we're learning about him.
Yeah, Radio
Next.
Man. Yeah.
Okay, but first, a little bonus fact.
So Spartans used to dip their newborn babies, or bathe them rather, in red wine rather than warm water to prove if they were like
To marinate them.
yeah.
What? What?
They try to prove if they were like strong enough by like new children.
Yeah.
They'd be like, ugh, like
They could take a
'em-
dunk or two.
Yeah, dunk them in wine to see
Listen,
if they were strong enough to
I'm
be
not
warriors.
saying that they had it all figured out back then, but some policies, let's just let them cook in red wine.
Oh my God.
XYZ with Erik Zachary. More About Nothing. It's all brought to you by Optima Tax Relief. Quick deep dives, fun facts, histories of. Got it that time.
Yep, there it is.
This time we're learning about Radio Man.
Yeah, Radio Man was originally a homeless guy in the late 90s in New York City. He has been kind of quietly in over 300 cameos between movies and TV, and he's just known as this guy in the industry who, like, I'm trying to think, what's
This has nothing to do with the movie Radio with Cuba Gooding
No,
Jr.,
no,
right?
no,
Okay.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's
But like
a
very
fair question. I don't
very
know anything
famous
about
people
this.
like Samuel L. Jackson has talked about him in interviews before.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know what time your set calls were
Oh,
or anything like that,
he would just like hang around sets on the streets.
He
and
would hang around
had
sets,
the
but
effects.
but he also, because he would just hang around sets, has ended up being in things like The Departed, Shutter Island, Elf, Always Sunny, 30 Rock. He's just been in so many different things. He's just this
Perpetual extra.
scraggly guy
Yeah.
who always has a radio hanging around his neck. That's why they call him Radio Man. But he started this in 1989. He's still doing it today. His real name, Craig Castaldo. He makes about like $71,000 a year.
Is he actually homeless, or is he like
he used to
he's
be
playing into it now
No,
a little bit?
now he's playing
it's
into
like,
it.
It's a character.
Yeah, now it's a character. But when he started in the late 90s,
Yeah,
he
he was
was
actually
he was
homeless.
actually homeless, and he would just roam around the sets. It wouldn't
Wow.
bother anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But now he's making a living out of it. I just want to make sure he was being compensated.
Yeah, no, he's making money off of it now. Everybody, like, if you're shooting in New York City,
You have to, like-
want him in it.
You
Like,
put money aside to have Radio Man there.
Exactly, and
That's
he kind of
incredible.
just helps everybody out. Like he knows everything. If you don't know where
Yeah.
you're supposed to be or what scene they're shooting,
Yeah.
So
Forget Eric Adams. He's the real mayor of
There
New
you
York.
go.
Yeah, Radio Man. More about nothing. Today's a little fun fact, deep dive history of it's XYZ with Erik Zachary. More about nothing's all brought to you by Optima Tax Relief. We've all had the fantasy of winning the lottery or just finding a giant sum of money
That's right.
somewhere. How about inheriting over $400,000 from someone you never knew?
this woman, Elaine Giselle, was just given $415,000 she inherited. She thought it was a scam originally,
Right.
but there was this guy named Barryhausen, Raymond Barryhausen, who passed away. He didn't have any kids, never
Next of
married.
kin.
Yeah, so they had to figure out who was closest related to him. This woman who lived all the way in Canada was his closest relative, and they had been blowing her
You
up.
said all the way in Canada, like that's thousands
I'm sorry,
of miles away.
He lives in England.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
the context
yeah.
I needed.
So across
I
the
was like,
pond.
all the way in Canada.
Right, forgot that part.
Where's this live? I've never heard of it. Got it.
Yeah, across the pond.
So he's a distant relative.
Distant relative, but she was the closest of kin. And
He didn't designate this. This
No,
is just
no,
the
it was
government
just-
finding someone.
Yeah,
And she gets $400,000 for that.
Yeah, he had a ton of money because he
Is
didn't have a
this-
family.
Is this the real reason people do 23andMe? Because I've always been kind of against it. Now I'm like, I don't need to know I'm related to Genghis Khan. I don't. But now if there's $400,000 on the line,
Pay me.
yeah, my Dutch ancestors. Elon Musk is becoming a little bit of a controversial name and figure as of late. But I
Yes.
promise what we're about to talk about really has nothing to do with his tie to the Trump presidency
Right,
in any
right.
capacity. This is a oopsie that occurred years ago.
Yes.
XYZ with Erik Zachary. Jordan.
So he's been doing a lot of things. I'm not going to get into politics with him. But, we recently talked about last week, everybody in the gaming community thought he was cheating and rigging all these video games
Yeah.
that people are playing. Now he just kind of messed up the Minor Planet Center at the Harvard Smithsonian.
The Minor Planet Center?
Yeah, so they track like asteroids, assuming
Like
they're-
mining of...
No, minor, like tiny, like not maximum.
They have
minimum.
minors working there?
Okay.
Like underage children?
No, like as
Oh, boy.
like not major, minor.
Okay.
A minor planet, like Pluto. Get
Got
what
it.
I'm saying?
Oh.
Yeah. So they track smaller bodies in space.
Sure.
And they were like, there's an unusual body, asteroid, whatever you want to call it.
Wouldn't micro be better than minor? Like macro versus micro?
I'm not gonna get into
I
the
just,
Latin
I'm
of
thinking
all
it's
these
either like an
words.
old school gold rush minor
No,
or...
no. Not M-I-N.
Minor as in not major.
M-I-N-O-R.
Opposite of major.
Oh my God.
I caught on like 30 seconds ago. I'm just having
Okay.
fun.
So anyway, the Harvard Smithsonian was like, this is an asteroid. We've been tracking it. Then after having a closer look, Elon sent one of the Tesla Roadsters to just float out in space with an empty spaceman astronaut suit in it as a fun little thing to do when they sent a SpaceX aircraft or spacecraft
Yeah.
up back in 2018, and it's just still floating around in space by us. So everybody's been looking at it like,
what is this?
what is this thing
Is
up
this
there?
alien activity?
Exactly. No, it's one of his convertibles just floating in space.
I love that.
I was gonna say.
love that.
There's
That's funny.
99% of me that's like that's so irresponsible.
Sure.
But there's 1% of me that's like, if I had that kind of money and I could just do that, I would do that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Do you not remember 2018 Elon Musk? He was just, whatever. Here you go. He's a troll.
And that's exactly what this is, just coming back to bite us.
I mean, it's kind of de-evolved sentence. But, XYZ with Erik Zachary. Return of Eric's hamster neighbor. XYZ with Erik Zachary. Yeah. Let me catch you up. We used to do the show before we moved into our studio that we moved into last year. We used to do the show from my home studio.
Yeah.
I live in a 3-story apartment walk-up.
Right.
And the guy that lived above me, we called lovingly the hamster.
Yes.
Because you could hear him patter around really fast. And
He's back from the consulate.
Well-
And by that I mean PetSmart.
yeah, he moved away, but he still like maintains the property. He comes back for random. Like I know when he's home. Trust me.
Right,
Like it's thin floors. Last night, I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and we were literally doing the New York Times crossword puzzle because that's what you do when you're 33, and it's
Hot.
it's a midweek night. And we hear, don't look at each other. What was that? What? Producer Tracy.
I agree.
It's not a euphemism. We were
disagreeing.
literally doing
Yes.
the crossword puzzle.
Of course. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Horizontally.
Anyway. And he was pattering around upstairs.
Yep.
And I could hear that he was home. And it was funny because I hadn't heard from him in a while. He had just shot me a text like, hey, man, I don't know if you saw my dog. Apparently, I got to his balcony and left a dropping or two. Totally understandable. So I was like, oh, my bad, dude. I didn't know. I'll go clean it up. I didn't even know my dog was up there. Secretly, I was like, good, Sloan. But I went and cleaned it up. So that was the only reason I had like maintained and reinitiated contact with him, right?
Sure.
So then we're hanging out, and we just hear him start screaming out the window, banging on the window. Get out of the spot where I want your badge number, blah, blah, blah. Going off.
What?
I look out the window and there's like parking enforcers on the street that are writing tickets, right? And they travel in like little goon squads. Like they have like little sprinter vans. They all pop out, write like 6 tickets, and then drive away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, literally. That's how they ticket people on my street.
That's
and it's
messed
ridiculous. So I'm conflicted, right? Because on one hand, I don't want to like this guy that lives above me because he's just being a Karen, yelling at these parking enforcers, asking for their badge number.
Sure.
Because they're parked in front of a fire hydrant. So he's basically being like the ultimate manager Karen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But on the other hand, I also really hate the parking enforcers too. So I'm conflicted, right?
Yeah.
And at the time that he's screaming at them, they look up to my window because it's a vertically stacked building. They see me. One of the parking guys is like laughing. He's like, even your neighbor's laughing at you. And I just hear him go, I know Eric very well. He's my friend. And I was like, bro, don't say my name. Bro, don't say my name. First of all, I've talked to this guy maybe in person, maybe 3 or 4 times total.
Wow.
I think twice of which both of you were there for. Or at least Jordan. And I just was like, and the parking guy's like, oh, you know Eric? Is that Eric? And I was like, why am I part of this?
You're a part of Alvin and the Chipmunks
Yeah,
now.
literally. And then so the parking guys leave. Too long, don't read. He runs back up the stairs. I'm like, please don't knock on my door. Please don't knock on my door. Please don't knock on my door. He doesn't knock on my door, but my phone starts immediately going off. He's texting his frustration. He's like, can you believe those guys? And I'm just like, yeah, I know, right? Because like I don't want to get involved.
Wow.
Yeah. So updates to the
New
hamster
friend.
story. Yeah.
New friend.
And that's the show. End of the show. XYZ with Erik Zachary. Now, we usually do this thing towards the end where we try to figure out what we want to come back to, what we want to talk about. Jordan, I want to know what you want to reflect on.
The fact that the ozone layer is going to be, we're doing great as a
You're
planet.
trying to tee up your joke again,
You
aren't
know?
you?
No, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to tee up
Yes,
anything.
you are. You're trying
I'm
to
just
bring back
very
the metal
excited.
straws and how metal straws are tied to the ozone layer, and we know it's not the truth.
I was not going to say anything about that, Eric. I'm just, you know what? Greenpeace, Greta Thunberg.
Isn't it Thunberg?
Yeah, whatever.
Did you say Thunberg?
That might actually be
He's
how
not
you
a
say
Looney
it.
Tunes
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, they say it. Trace, could you look that up? How to say
We'll see you tomorrow
his last
on
name.
XYZ with Erik Zachary. Bye.
Trace.